Hello and welcome to the Three Man Weave College Basketball Podcast. I'm here. My name's Kai. I'm here with Jim. I'm here with Matt. It's a Friday morning. We are doing our favorite thing in the world, talking about college basketball. And fellas, it's been another good week. It's finals week, couple. Jim, would you say there's a couple slates that just don't quite live up to the expectations of college basketball? You went back and forth with Goodman. That was a fun series of tweets. I really
Oh, I
enjoyed that.
loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. Hey,
I
I
loved
don't
it.
mind if you want to say a slate is bad. That is okay with me. I think that message got lost. It was the cross between saying a slate is bad and also saying, look at this incredible 266th ranked Ken Pom team with a 4-7 record versus Division One opponents. What a job he's doing.
Yeah.
Like glorifying that performance of Doug Gottlieb at Green Bay didn't square with saying the Monday slate is terrible, don't watch basketball, especially because the Monday slate was headlined by Wyoming and Sundance Wicks, who did better at Green
Mhm.
Bay than Doug Gottlieb, who has
Mm.
got a top 100 team at Wyoming. There was like just a tough comparison point there that really didn't work for Jeff. And he loves to go back and forth. He never takes anything personally, which I think is kind of fun. So it ended up being just a little back and forth, trade some fun punches and move on. But I'm glad it happened. I think I got Woj to follow me on Twitter because of it. So
Excellent.
we're all good. Yeah.
Wait, you
Yeah.
got Woj on board? Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, actually, he's in the chat right now. Let me see what
That's
he said.
right.
Yeah, Pizza Hut responded to Jeff's tweet. That was weird. They have like 1.5 million followers. Literally, Pizza Hut.
I missed the Pizza Hut. Why? What
It was
was their
the,
insert?
the main Pizza Hut.
Pizza
handle,
Hut
yeah.
goes, Jeff, you forgot about Coastal Carolina App State. That
That
was
was
the
it.
tweet.
I'm always
Anyways.
wondering, like, do these big companies have like internal social media people, or they just
Absolutely.
outsource it? Yeah, that's okay.
Anywho, yeah, that's wow. Banter for the intro. We will mention Gottlieb in the coaching section. But welcome to the podcast. We are going to do our standard fare, our We've Saw That, our three-man thoughts, our Roots Roundup, and touch on a couple of games this weekend. We will have a best bet show, of course, on Saturday, 10 a.m. Central. So if you want to talk more, excuse me, gambling, please join us. Same YouTube channel, 10 a.m. Central. Matt, sorry to miss the big bash here in Illinois. I am in Missouri now, home for the holidays. That is my background there. Jim's also in Illinois. If you're watching us on YouTube, very pretty faces right now. Still in the Zoom format. We hope to get back to the OBS pretty format soon. We've had some nice help via email. I'm not sure if he wants to say his name, so I won't, but appreciate your help. I think it's going to work. I just need to test it live. So
Yeah, thank you, guy.
TBD. Okay, 3MW_CBB. That's where you can find us on Twitter and Instagram. Please do subscribe to the podcast in YouTube format and iTunes, Spotify, whatever format. And then, of course, Discord, basketunderreview.com. Subscribe. Website has a ton of great articles from very talented college basketball folks, not just us. And also the Discord is where you can chat with us basically 24/7. We're your buddies. We can talk gambling, we can talk college basketball, anything. That's all included in the Basket Under Review subscription, $10 a month. The link is in the video description. Check it out. We really hope you do. We think it's a great college basketball community. If you're a diehard fan, I think it's worth the money. Or even a casual fan. Let me not limit myself there. Okay.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. That does it for the intro. I think it's time to start the show personally. So let's go with Jim's Roots Roundup.
Yeah, let's do it, Kai. Let's talk news and notes. But hey, before we do, Maddie, a quick shout out to our loyal sponsor and fantastic resource, CBB Analytics.
That's right, Jim. CB Analytics, the holy grail of college basketball data, our fine sponsor, and a go-to tool as we continue to analyze college hoops throughout the year. As we mentioned, it was a massive accelerator in our previews, breaking down teams in the offseason. But now we actually have in-season data. Looking at some of the shot charts last night. Again, that's some of these D2, D3 guys for coaches out there who are trying to get a head start on who might be coming down the pike for the portal next season. Make sure you're checking that out. And I love using their in-game box score tool, Kai. Very new feature he's added. Yeah,
Tell me about it.
It's just some shot. It just basically blows out like the stat broadcast type thing that we're used to with core visualizations, game flow stuff, streaks, all that good stuff. Again, and my thing for handicapping, I just love how you can break down some of the quad specific performances and quad specific shooting tendencies, offense, defense, you name it. Love it. Thank you, Nick and team. Use our promo code WEAVE. That's WEAVE, WEAVE, for $40 off your subscription when you sign up today. Thank you, CBB Analytics.
Well said, Matthew. CBB Analytics indeed. Okay. Yes, Kai, you alluded to we would discuss Mr. Gottlieb here in the Roundup section. Doug Gottlieb is stepping away from his radio show and talked about how he owed it to the players to be leaning into being a full-time coach. It seems so silly and lack of self-awareness to do this a year and a half into your coaching tenure. It's like the thing everybody was saying from the beginning, and as you were going 4-28 to start your coaching career. Your thoughts, Kai?
Yeah, very brave, very brave. I'm glad Doug, prayed about it, whatever. And he decided that he couldn't be a full-time radio host and be also a full-time Division I basketball coach. It couldn't be done. He thought he could do it for 45 games, but then he realized, yep, I can't do it. So Matthew, again, very brave. Congrats to Doug Gottlieb for finally focusing on his team. Excited to watch him go, 9-11 in the horizon this year.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a mandate from God. I didn't know that was part of the.
Oh, I added that part. I don't know, actually. People always say that, though.
Okay, we'll expunge that from the. Yeah, no, I've no problem. I think people have pretty much drowned it on Twitter. I think I've sort of defended Gottlieb in the past. I think he's actually a not underrated coach, but not a terrible coach. I think he actually did a really nice job building this roster with some of the resource limitations that he has, obviously. But yeah, you backed yourself into a hole that you were never going to get out. Either you stayed the course and did both, and people are always going to say shit, or you're going to eventually cut the cord, and then this was going to happen. So you put yourself in a fork that was never never a good situation. So, but hey, rip the Band-Aid off. Now here we go. And the Phoenix are playing good ball right now. Good for them.
They're playing fine ball, I would say. I'm confused about the resource thing because I thought part of the idea of bringing him in was, we've got Doug's going to have some of the DIY NIL stuff, and
also
be
confused
resourced
as well. Yeah,
he's also in the horizon. It's not like he's competing against super resourced programs. He's also had one season that was Will Ryan caliber terrible, and his current good season is still worse than anything Todd Kowalczyk did. It's worse than anything Brian Wardle did. It's worse than anything Link Darner did. It's worse than anything Mike Heidemann did. And people are praising it because it's better than last year. And that was already a 120 spot drop off from what Sonny Wicks did. It's like clearing your own bar that's on the floor doesn't warrant the praise he's getting. That's what kind of drives me nuts. And it's just clear, when someone says something about it and every fan backs me saying it, and it's just a couple media people defending the buddy, it's tough that those people can't look in the mirror and see that they're the ones who are incorrect, but whatever, Congrats for stepping on from radio. Maybe they'll just go on a 20-game win streak, shove it up my butt, and make the NCAA tournament. So whatever, we'll see.
They should be 2-1, by the way. To add to your point, Jim, a pretty blatant coaching mishap against Robert Morris there on the 10-second call. So
where was the critique for his coaching after that? Come on, it's a standard. It's a double standard. All right, moving on. Transfer news: USC picked up a midseason addition from Cam Woods, who is a very clear, important contributor for an NCAA tournament-bound Robert Morris team last year. You raise an eyebrow about why a guy who is that productive for a conference champion couldn't find a roster this offseason. I think it could be I said it in the Discord, a potential another stick of dynamite thrown into the locker room at USC. But with some of the injuries, we'll get to that in a second, it made sense to try to add a body for Mr. Musselman. There are a couple other teams adding Euros, Washington, Illinois. I don't think Illinois is going to play this season. I think he's going to redshirt and play next season. But then there's also Kyrie Walker, who is playing professionally in Mongolia, was in the class of 2020 in high school, a well-regarded recruit, played in the G League. Last year averaged 4 points a game in the Canadian Professional Basketball League. I think he's really bad, and people are just desperately trying to find a useful player. I think Trilly tweeted, there's a reason he's bad, folks.
Yeah,
in Mongolia.
Right. This shouldn't be allowed, obviously. I don't know why we're even entertaining this. It's very annoying. It's going to open up Pandora's box here we already have a little bit, but This is extreme. Like, give me a break. I don't think it's going to happen. I even think Tony Billich coming over is kind of weird, but whatever. We'll let it slide. Cam Woods, was he just chilling? And how'd they find
I
him?
thought
How,
he
how did
had
USC find him?
Yeah, he
I
was
thought
just
he
chilling.
Which
yeah.
is, hey, I'm chilling. I'll come play basketball.
It
What
I
is
was
he
like
thought
doing?
there
more
was I thought
late
was
in
he
the
tied to the gambling thing? No, was there rumors that he had a
They might
stigma
have
with
been. I
that?
don't know.
I don't know.
Late in the portal season, like it was just every day somebody would ask Trilly in the transfer portal thread, like, "Hey, what's Cam Woods up to?" And it's
Hmm.
like he'd still like tweeting through it, like
Yeah.
talking about being available and committing to a JUCO and not a JUCO. He's too old for that. But yeah, just like it seemed to be a bit of an erratic personality, and I believe it's his sixth school in six
Yeah.
years.
Six
Right?
school in 6 years.
Yeah,
Hmm.
eyebrows go up there. Alarm bells. All right, let's go to injuries, fellas. Unfortunately, it's a not extensive section, but there's definitely a couple worth talking about. Rodney Rice for USC is officially out for the season. The shoulder dislocation separation that he got multiple times in Maui just couldn't quite surmount that. The Trojans do potentially have an Elijah Arenas return happening soonish. Mid-January, I think, is the current forecast for that. He looked good doing some drills pregame last time out. That would be a nice addition for a team that now is trying to find more playmaking with Woods and potentially Arenas. Kai, where does this affect, or how does this impact your view of USC's ceiling?
Quite a bit. I think Rice was super important. We were excited about them, on a basketball floor with with Baker Mazara and Rice together. Clearly, two very talented players. We ranked Rice, I think, probably top 50 in our top 100 players. So huge blow. They lost Dickerson for a while too. USC's been very injured this year, and usually Musselman's had like this endless amount of depth, right? Because he just accumulates in the portal. It doesn't really seem that way this year. I know he still has a bunch of portalers, but it seems a little bit less than. The bench is thin, hence you bring in Cam Woods. The ceiling is clearly lower now without Rice.
Yeah, they started Ryan Cornish a few
Yeah,
games, and that's just like terrifying to me. He can make a shot, but his reason his usage is minuscule, and he gets picked on defense. Rice was averaging 20 a game, 6 assists, less than two turnovers, over a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Like
yeah.
was doing everything right, fairly efficient, especially from three. So that is a big loss, and we'll see what Arenas is able to do, what Woods is able to do to replace that. But it hurts USC's ceiling, no doubt. In the freshman world, Kai, Darren Peterson I don't know if he re-injured his hamstring. I saw that it was actually groin.
Mm,
Didn't play any overtime, I think, for Kansas when they lost or beat, excuse me, they beat NC State. Mikel Brown Jr. missed Louisville's loss against Tennessee. Really, really important to their offense, like the
yeah.
kind of the straw that stirs the drink, as it were. Then Seth Trimble is almost back for UNC. So there's some ins and some outs going on there. Any of those really stand out to you? None of them are long-term season ending or anything, but you have to wonder, especially with Peterson, when to handlers just like, let's just not have you play.
It's kind of heading towards that path, I think. Oh, don't worry. They got him back from Mizzou just in time. But yeah, it seems like every lingering injury keeps him out of the game. Now, I can't really blame him, Jim. He's going to be a top 3 pick. He's going to be a multimillionaire and have a fantastic NBA career. I get it. College doesn't really matter at the end of the day for him. But it's a shame because he is one of the best players in the country. He's very fun to watch, and Kansas cannot go far in the tournament without him. So their season's done if he gets hurt and is out for the year.
Yeah, it's still a fairly high floor team without him because they
High floor,
defend their
good
tails
defense.
off. And I don't know, maybe Melvin Council goes banana land again like he did against NC State. That
Hmm.
performance doesn't really make sense to me. But we'll talk about that maybe a little later in the show. Luke Bamgoy for Texas Tech. He had missed a game for a concussion. He was banged up early in the season. Then challenging a three-pointer collapsed and was holding his leg. Kai, really concerning. I think Texas Tech fans immediately hit the out for the season panic button. McCaslin said in a presser or an interview, he's optimistic it's not for the entire season. They hope he's going to get back, but I think that is one is really worth monitoring because without him and with Josiah Mosley having yet to debut, they have 6 players. And McCaslin is
Yeah.
furious at their lack of defensive effort. Talked about like that's why Jazz Henderson played because he at least pressures the ball. They've got some things to figure out there.
Yeah. We heard Matt in the background with his daughter. Good. Um, Jim I did not watch Northern Colorado game. Did Bamgoy play? I see 7 minutes in the box score. He came back,
No, that's
or
when
that
he
was the
got
game he got
hurt.
hurt. Okay, gotcha,
Yep.
gotcha. I'm sorry. Yes, they have 6 players. It's not good for Texas Tech, and it's a shame. I know, obviously, Jim picked him to win the title. I was high on this team as well, and the Arkansas game was very frustrating because I saw them play at the level I thought they could play in the first half, and then of course they just ran out of gas, and that's not surprising with this lack of depth. Um, I really hope they get healthy. I hope Bamgoy comes back. I hope Mosley comes back. If they don't, it's just kind of a what if sort of season.
Yeah, because Lawan Watts is starting to play really freaking awesome. He had a monster game against Northern Colorado, but with no depth, as you mentioned, they just got worn down against the athleticism, the size of Arkansas, and Razorbacks ended up taking that one later. We'll discuss that, and we saw that. So need to get him healthy. We'll see what happens, monitor it, and keep the people informed. One last one that I wanted to mention: Clemson's Zach Foster is out for the year with a torn ACL.
Hmm.
Not a giant piece for them, but a freshman that had shown a lot of intrigue, a high usage guard who's capable of having some big games. Again, more of probably a ceiling limiter. I think they've got enough guard depth to at least make it through and get to the NCAA tournament and still be rock solid. But Foster had kind of the every once in a while go off for 15 to 20 off the bench, and that mattered having that kind of boost.
So we got Ace Buckner. He's a fun player. Another
Yeah,
freshman for them.
both those guys were like kind of, oh, Clemson's got a little more dynamism in the backcourt outside
Hmm.
of Dylan Hunter than I thought. But hey, Matt's back. I think we've got him back in the fold. Matthew,
I'm
any
back.
comments on any of these injuries from Rodney Rice to Michael Brown Jr. to Peterson to Bamgoy, whatever you jumped out to you?
I actually think KU. I know Peterson's awesome. I think KU still can do damage deep in March without him. I just think their defense is so good. I I heard Kai say. I just wanted to opine on Kai's take that they're not going anywhere. No,
Yeah.
I think they can go places. Obviously, their ceiling's lower, but I think in a March Madness format, I'm just their defensive ceiling, especially. I think their defense can get even better with the lineups that they're going to use without him. And he's not been good defensively. You can tell he can't. His hammies really hamstrung
Yeah,
him. Ha.
he's at least got size. He's a big guard, can switch and everything. But yeah, I mean, they're certainly helped by surrendering 24% from three right now. That's like not
I know.
sustainable. NC State shot poorly. David or Towson shot like 3 of 24 from deep. So it's continuing right now. But part of that is you can't score inside because they've got size, length, activity, and you have to take some bad threes. So there is some element to it. I just think it'll settle around 29 to 30%, even for a really elite defense there. Hard to count on it staying at 24. All right, guys, Jizzle James is back. What is going
Wow.
on at Cincinnati? Matt, tell me why this isn't a, oh my God, I'm going to get fired. I'm panicking. Let's
Mm.
just press this button and hope Jizzle James saves my season.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bummer. It really is. I know. I know Miller's had some injuries in the front court. Baba Miller, Kai, our boy,
Yeah,
but
he's
Kai, your boy, Sincere Harris. Like we all knew that was not going to be a good thing. Like it's just we're gonna
yeah.
have Sean. What's his last name? I just call him
Abayev,
Sean. I just call him Sean.
Abayev, something like
It's like,
Yep.
okay, that's our high usage guy. I just, yeah, so I don't know. We also, and Kirk Kriisa is still on the team. Like every time I was like, oh yeah, Kirk Kriisa on this team. That's right. Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
that
it is. I mean, I think they need him. Clearly, he had 16 points in 20 minutes off the bench against Alabama State, so he's going to be pretty solid for them offensively. They're horrible offensively. They're outside the top 200 again because he brought in Sincere Harris instead of getting an offensive player, for instance. But a top 10 defense. So I think they can be kind of feisty in the Big 12 still. But I think Wes Miller is kind of done. I think this might be his last year.
yeah, it's what it feels like. I mean, the issues with them has always been the defense or the offense, excuse me, and they're 237th. It's by far his worst offense there. Like,
Gosh.
there's just no progress on that end, and it seems like no end in sight for that. Well, there is an end in sight for the tenure. We'll say that.
Hmm.
Deshaun Harris Smith stepped away from Georgetown for personal reasons. Not a huge deal. I just hope not a single Georgetown fan will ever use this as an excuse for why they're bad because he wasn't much of a contributor, and they're really trying to figure things out. Yes, they beat Marquette, but everybody beats Marquette right now, so can't really give them any
Yeah,
flowers for that.
they're a corpse. Yes, yes.
All right, last bit, Kai. Joel Klatt says March
Oh
Madness
my
is the
gosh.
dumbest and least fair tournament in all of sports. I will give Joel Klatt credit for making fun of himself on his next appearance, saying it was a
Okay.
dumb take, walking it back. I respect that, but I don't even know how you initially come to that conclusion.
He did very good media marketing for himself, going on Pardon My Take recently. And people are probably like, wow, Joel Klatt, okay. Like he's cool, right? Now he's a cool guy. And then he makes this take, which everyone just lambasted him for, which they should. What a horrible take. It's by far the best tournament. Give me a break. At least fair. That's ridiculous. Most fair. I mean, just, yeah, we don't have to pile on here, but Joel, man, maybe just in the moment he had to say something and he heard himself say it and immediately probably knew he was wrong. Been there.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it, it, it looked like a guy who went on like a lesser I don't know what show he was on, like a local.
It
It was like
looks like yeah, who watches that show?
so it's a big guy goes on like a smaller platform show and then tries to like be the big cool tough guy and then unleash his really emphatically over the top take and just the deliverance of the take was what really bothered me. Like it's you want to have that take, that's fine, but then just like act like just the smugness in which he said it was just like, all right, you know,
Yeah, and like what
cool.
he was saying, why he was saying it, like said it's not fair, like it's a bad way to crown a best team. And I think Matt Norlander went through like the last 10 champions that are all either like one seeds or top five or both in
Yes, that was
ping
the
or
correct
both.
response.
Like,
Literally, our format does both. It allows a fair chance for guys who are little and probably can't win it, but eventually we get the best teams playing for the ultimate prize. It's great.
yeah, I
It's
think
good.
it, like the heart of it was like anger that James Madison is in over Notre Dame or something like that. It's like, who cares? The best team's probably going to win, just the same way it is in college basketball. Let's cool the Jets on overreacting to that. So I'm glad he
Yeah,
walked it
college
back.
football
Respect that.
playoff fodder is just like makes my blood boil. It's
Yeah.
just it's
It's
insane.
catnip for takes, though, Matthew.
It
It's
is. It
catnip for
certainly is.
plays.
I know our sport. We could use more of that to elevate ourselves to that level of notoriety. We maybe we should change our format so we can have hotter takes about how absurd our format is. That could be good for our business. It could.
Mm,
All right.
pass.
Well, that is it for Roots Roundup. Kai, I will kick it back to you for we've saw that.
Okay, we saw that time a healthy Roots roundup for the first time in a few weeks there. Yes, big games. Let's go through the headliners real quick from the past week. Again, I'm always shocked these just happened because it feels like they happened a million years ago. But a lot of games do happen on Saturday right after we record the previous week. So there you go. Arizona looks incredible. They beat Alabama by 21. Alabama had 15 blocked shots on Arizona. It didn't matter. They just kept on coming. They are a dominant team inside the arc on both ends. Top 10 offense and defense right now in Kempom. They followed up that effort, by the way, by beating Abilene Christian by 34 points. This team rocks. I love this team.
Yeah, they're incredible. The way they can just onslaught you in the paint and not really need to knock down shots and getting 15 shots blocked. Who cares? We're going to get 50 offensive rebounds and just put the ball back. The size, the strength, the downhill ability of the guards. They're a team of adults. They're get off the bus test type team that they pass with flying colors. I hope we get Arizona, Michigan at some point, just because it would be a blast of a matchup where the meeting in the paint would be Godzilla versus Kong type stuff.
Ooh, very nice. It would definitely advertise as such, yes. And Jim mentioned earlier in the show, yeah, Kansas, man, beat NC State at NC State in overtime without Darren Peterson. Matt, your boy, Melvin Council, 36 points. He was 9 for 15 from three. He was 5 for 27 before that from three. He had an out of body experience. The Nets were on fire. Your boy, Melvin Council, Matthew.
How about your boy Will Wade? Not
My
happy
boy.
with his ball with his club right now.
He's happy they have a 3.0 GPA.
I know.
That's what he
If you're
said.
running a daycare, I mean, a phenomenal soundbite.
I don't even know what that means.
I think his point was, I mean, the point was he has got too many nice guys and not enough like
Oh, dogs.
tenacity in the locker room. I think he likes the guys he brought with him, Copeland, Q, and then he said Van Allen Lubin, but the other guys, I think, frankly, I'm seeing some not so direct, but direct finger pointing at,
Jane Williams.
yeah, I don't, maybe he's mad that he's sort of nursing that shoulder, but I think really it comes down to a point guard. I think he's a
Yeah.
little frustrated with
Holloman.
Hollowell. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah,
the
I
issue
think,
there.
and I think Abel and McNeil are both like want to shoot,
And
and
that's it.
he
Yeah.
wants to make sure you do more than that. And I guess we can just mention it here rather than a second time. Like Paul McNeil had 47 against Georgia
then the
Southern.
next game.
It's like he's really good at scoring. You just got to find a way to balance out some of the other things he doesn't bring to the table, which is like any defense. But like he had no assists with his 47 points, which is not surprising. It's just kind of who he is. You got to embrace it.
Yeah, where the heck did he come from? Holy cow. I mean, he's had some monster performances. McNeil was 11 for 17 from
It's
three
pretty cool
against
that they
Southern.
decided like they targeted him like, well, okay, we want to keep you, and like the other guys, they're just like, no.
Yeah.
So nice
It's
shot
just
by
funny
Wade there.
that like he had 47 in the games prior. He had 4, 6, 3, 7.
Yeah.
Go from
And
four straight single digits to 47.
incredible. We did touch on briefly that Texas Tech lost to Arkansas. Arkansas beat Texas Tech. I watched the entire first half. I didn't quite get to catch the entire second half. But man, I mean, Christian Anderson rocks. Like, he's so fun to watch. That first half, just doing everything, topping, absolutely dominant. But Arkansas just never went away, and they kept counterpunching and counterpunching. Carter Knox has been fantastic. Acup's been fantastic, and Brazil had a fantastic second half. Arkansas is very good. I don't totally trust Calipari, Matthew, but I do think it's a very, very good team, very talented.
Oh, it's a terrific roster. Yeah, I mean, I mean the Calipari thing. You could we could talk about that for days, but I do think that roster just with the size up front, just the way they've matched up against big time teams, it's just it has the same feel that they can make another kind of deepish run if they've at the matchups shake out correctly. Honestly, I feel the same way about USC too, as sort of lackluster as they've been. I mean, I know they're 12-1, but I feel like they're just kind of skating by. They're not really beating a lot of these teams. They had the scare against Troy. So it's the Musselman, Calipari, both of those. I think I feel the same about both those teams. They're just they have that deep run in them, DNA wise.
Right.
Yeah, when Arkansas is not fully engaged, they're like they can beat Stanford by 4 and
Or
then struggle a little bit. But when they're focused, like that's why people watch the Louisville and the Texas Tech games, be like, wow, highest ceiling in the SEC. And I don't know if I agree with that, but it's certainly close. And yeah, I remember when like Acuff was an afterthought in preseason player rankings, kind of people like Mikael Brown
Yeah.
Jr., first team All American. Like they're having really similar seasons, and you can make a decent argument Acuff's better. So,
Yep. Agreed. Kentucky, Undertaker GIF, they're alive. I have a thought on Kentucky and Indiana in three-man thoughts, but Cats beat Indiana by 12. How about Nebraska, guys? We did talk about them last pod. Jim had a nice thought on them. A late Jamarcus Lawrence winner at Illinois. They're now 11-0, I think, for the first time ever. They've won 15 straight games going back to last year. Nebraska is hot right now, and they have a really good resume. Like they're just kind of slowly building Q1, Q2 wins. 2-0 in the Big Ten. I mean, this is a different Nebraska team, Jim. Top 4 seed Nebraska. Some people are talking about it.
yeah, haven't won a NCAA tournament game, and maybe this is finally the year. Rink Mast gets them over the line. I mean, they can shoot the cover off the ball, and it's kind of why they won at Illinois. It just turned into a shooting contest, and Nebraska was slightly better, shooting 46% from three. Yeah, Matt, like they don't have the downhill backcourt playmaker, but they haven't needed it right now. And the one knock on them last week was they haven't done anything on the road yet. Well, winning in Champaign to go 2-0 in Big Ten play matters to me. So I'm not gonna say they're a top 15 team. I think they're kind of at the height of their value right now, but they're really good and they're enormously fun to watch.
Yeah, I think just again the story with Mast coming back, staying there, and then parlaying the CBI momentum from last season. I think that's what's cool is like I'm just tired of seeing all these guys opt out of bowl games for football. It's like that team played, stuck with it, won, and then you bring Mast back, who was sitting out watching on the bench all year, reinsert him, and then now there's. I mean, I'm looking at the T rank projected bracketology. I mean, they're 5th seed, which they're probably higher in terms of actual bracketology right now, obviously, but they're going to take some losses in Big Ten play. But I think 5 seed feels about where they land. That feels right to me, given what I've seen.
The crown, I believe they won, not the
Crown.
CBI.
Sorry, not CBI.
How
Whatever.
dare
I
you?
know it's stupid.
I was like CBI. Wow, they that bad last year? No, no, it was Crown. Yeah, Arkansas, or excuse me, Nebraska, very impressive so far this year. Tennessee, Undertaker GIF, just like Kentucky, they're back. They lost 3 straight games and then just killed Louisville. No, Michael Brown Jr. is huge, but Louisville is so deep at guard. I honestly expected them to compete still, and it wasn't the case. Their limiting factor defense showed up. Tennessee scored 1.2 points per possession. It wasn't really hard to score. Jacoby Gillespie was incredible in this game. So Tennessee, Jim, I'm a little bit skeptical on Tennessee's ceiling still. They don't feel like a Final Four contender like in years past, like every single year, the last 5 or 6 years. I'm not super worried about Louisville either, but yeah.
Yeah, the Tennessee defense isn't quite the juggernaut that it typically is. It's really good. Akpara is fantastic at the rim. Bishop Boswell is a beast of a perimeter defender. But like Amet's not a great defender. Dwayne Brown isn't, and Carey aren't like super mobile, like laterally. They get up and down fairly well, but they're not like gonna switch and be that kind of a presence. They really need Gillespie to play as well as he did in this game. And he's been up and down, and he's been way more of an offensive focal point than he was for the Crab Five. He was just kind of one of the scorers, and now he's like 1A, 1B with Ament. So I'm a little skeptical of the ceiling too. I think they'll float around right around 15th ish. They're 15th in Ken Palm right now. That seems exactly where they should be to me, and probably finish top four in the SEC, but lacking the like national title ceiling.
Impressive effort by Memphis, who takes another quality loss, now 4-6 right now, to Vanderbilt. Vandy wins on the road in overtime. This was a close game. Memphis had the lead really late in the second half. These teams combined, by the way, for 10 for 51 from three. It wasn't the prettiest game to watch, but Vandy, I mean, you can't say enough about how good of a job Mark Byington has done this season. He's fantastic. We waxed poetically about him on a few podcasts. I think they're kind of taking the Nebraska path right now. Top four seed in March seems very likely. Of course, we're not even into SEC play yet, but very impressed by them. Memphis, I wonder how patient fans, boosters, et cetera, will be with Penny now that they're finally kind of starting to struggle. And I think the attendance is lower than they'd like right now, Matt.
Yeah, let's man, it's funny how some of these fan bases are so fickle, but like, yeah, I get it.
They're all fickle.
They're all fickle. I was bummed. So sorry that the slew, the footage of the St. Louis game. I know it's Bethune-Cookman, but like, slew's like an at-large team. Like, show up. Okay, whatever, fine. That bothered me. Go to the games. What are you doing? Get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Memphis is whatever. I mean, Vandy.
Found a way. Found a way. That I think that matters. You know,
Yeah.
they did not play their best. They really had kind of a down week, like beating Central Arkansas by 11 at home and struggling to beat Memphis, who was a little shorthanded and discombobulated. It still matters though. Like getting those
Yep.
wins and not dropping them. Like every other team or 359 other teams have a loss, and Vandy doesn't. So that matters.
Matt, should I be one of the 10 fans at SLU, New Hampshire on Sunday? 2 p.m. tilt.
Yeah, it's a good ball club.
Support the Bills.
Support your Bills, baby.
Say hey to Shirts and be like, hey, Josh, remember I saw you in the bathroom after the Indiana State game? I'd be like, yeah,
Wait,
I totally
did you?
remember that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we went, Jim and I went. It was a fantastic experience. Not the bathroom, the game. Just want to be clear. Michigan, yep, they're still dominating teams. They beat Maryland by 18 after losing at half. This team's a juggernaut. They're easily number one right now in power ratings and analytics sites. It's not even close. Scary. I think the difference between them and Iowa State, who's number two, it's bigger than 2 versus 8, 2 versus 7 right now in KenPom. They continue to be incredible. Watch them for historic watch for all-time teams, I think, in KenPom, which means they are probably going to be in the mix to win the title this season.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they're like plus 375 at some books.
That's
to win the
stupid.
title, which I
I
think
would
is
never
insane.
bet that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, random stuff. Buzzer beaters. Troy's Thomas Dowd, Matt's boy, put back at the buzzer, beat UAB at UAB. Yeah, Troy's been involved in some awesome games, some buzzer beaters. They're just a really well-coached team. You know who could really use Scott Cross is UT Arlington. We've mentioned it 100 times, but boy, they could really use him. Pacific and Nevada went to overtime, but the power went out, Jim, with 55 seconds left. I didn't actually watch this one. They called it a no contest.
Yeah, it was a 3-point game with 55 seconds left in OT, and it will not count for either team's official records. I don't think they're going to replay it at all. It's just vanished from the official record. It's gone.
That's crazy. Was Pacific winning by chance?
No.
Nothing.
It was. I think
Okay.
Nevada was up.
Not that Nevada has a chance to make an at-large.
You know what, Kai? This was a women's game. They did play earlier in the season, and Nevada won by one in the men's side. So how
Hey,
about
there
that?
you go. Women's basketball. We talked about it once on the podcast. Boom.
That's right.
You're welcome. All you fans clamoring for it. Okay, but Butler Providence. This is a men's game. Double overtime. This game was very, very good. Butler pulled it out at the end, 113 to 110. Wow. I like the Butler Bulldogs this season. They did not do well against UConn to follow this up, but it's UConn. They're very, very good. Yeah, very crazy game. Double OT, 86 possession game, tons of scoring. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, yeah. I think on our stats show, Will said there were 50 lead changes or ties and lead
50?
changes combined. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Like it was truly back and forth. The box score is awesome if anybody wants to look at it. Four
Yeah.
guys had more than 25 points. I think like 10 guys were in double figures. It was just a scoring bonanza. Not like mega efficient, but very efficient. Both teams around 1.3 per possession and just back and forth, like almost no stops in
Hmm.
the final 5 minutes of the game, plus both overtimes. Like it was just haymaker after haymaker. Neither team was like throwing up bricks. Neither team was getting stops. It was just really good offensive basketball down the stretch, and that's what made it. It's fun. It's number one in Ken Baum's excitement and tension grades for the
Hmm.
season.
I noticed Kimmy has started bringing Jason Edwards off the bench, which I don't know. He had 32 against Butler, by the way, off the bench. So he did fine. But I wonder if that was a
Yeah, I think
request, if that was a,
he came off the bench to start his
Wasn't that his like North
North
Texas
Texas
thing?
career.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
was
came
just
yeah,
off
gonna
the
he
say.
bench for
feels
a little
better
bit
like
at
that.
Vandy
Yeah.
last year. In fact, he had 5 game MVPs last year at Vandy, and
Yeah.
4 of them were off the bench.
Hmm.
I love
Maybe
how
he
North
just feels
Texas'
better
three
like
best
that.
players for 3 years were all like bench guys. I feel
Yeah.
like that's a cool thing.
Just instant offense. Okay, major stat lines. We talked about Paul McNeil. Again, 47 points, 11 threes, 10 rebounds. Throw that in there against Texas Southern. Radford, Dennis Parker, 53 points against Coppin State. He was named one of the players of the week for, I don't know, USBWA names players of the week every single week, but he was one of them. Radford doesn't get a lot of shine there. So congrats to Dennis Parker. He used to play at NC State. He was not, nope, I'm thinking of Sincere for McNeese. He was just at NC State, I think, Dennis Parker.
Yep.
Jay Sean
Well,
Glover.
hold on. Should we mention the
Yes.
bad Radford news?
No.
The
What
I
is
think
it?
the investigations have I think they're now public, or there's an official report filed
Oh,
um,
about his dad,
with
about
with
Zach
Zach,
Shue's dad.
Tricolor
head
or whatever
coach.
the random brand is.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that's now I think coming above board. I think we mentioned that in the offseason briefly. There's some
Hmm.
back to the bring your own NIL. When bringing your own NIL goes wrong, we'll see how that pans out though. But
They've
yeah,
been
they
pretty
didn't
bad
they
this
didn't
year.
quite.
Yeah. They've
They've
been
been up and downy. They've been weird. I'd say they've been weird.
much worse than I expected. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Jay Sean Glover, triple double. Congrats. 11, 12, and 10 against non D1 opponent, but still notable. And then just a bunch of guys who scored a bunch of points on very efficient stat lines. Braden Huff scored 35 plus. Lawan Watts had 36 last game against who they just beat.
Northern Colorado.
Northern Colorado, we just talked about. And Shazay Harris, South. I'm just assuming it could be Chase. It's Chase
Yeah.
with a Z. South Alabama, 38, 5, 8, and 6. That's crazy. And then Cade Tyson continues to have his renaissance season with Minnesota, 38 and 11 for Minnesota for Cade Tyson.
Yeah, it good to see him like find the right system. I think that was a lot of people were like, he'll fit much better in
Yeah.
Medved's offense than he did in Hubert's stand in the corner offense, and it's coming to fruition very much. He looks awesome.
Couple bad losses. Syracuse lost at home to Hofstra. Hofstra's been tough this year, but come on, man. Like, you gotta, you can't keep
Hofstra's
doing this,
2-0
Red.
against the ACC, man.
Yeah,
2-0.
they are. They beat Pitt, I believe, earlier this season.
Yep. I
Yeah,
went
Downey.
on ESPN radio in Syracuse, Kai, and they are heavy sky is falling. At least the fan base. The radio guys were a
Sure.
little more steady, but the fan base was like, "We're done. We're doomed. Fire him now." And I was like, "Yeah, well, you still got a chance." But yeah, they need Donnie Freeman back. Freeman seems like they are keeping him out or his handlers are keeping him out.
They are. I think he'll be back for ACC play, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Loyola Chicago. Oh my gosh. Thank you for putting this one here, Jim. Lost at home to Chicago State. I don't think you can get any lower in terms of vibes, losing to Chicago State, being a Chicago team. They're 313th in Kempom, Jim. Like, what happened? This
It's a
team, there's no excuse. I mean, Valentine's got to be, if he had
yeah,
hair, pulling his hair out.
yeah, it's a complete disaster. They're expected to be like top three in the A10. They brought back a decent amount. They invested in the roster. They went out and got more pieces. They kept Miles Rubin when I'm sure a lot of power conferences wanted him. Like nothing short of a total catastrophe for them to be as terrible as they are. I don't know what you do. Like you look back and he had a mega disaster season in 2023
Yep.
also. I guess you can kind of grin and bear it for 1 year, but I could also see them just saying this is too unforgivably bad and moving on.
You can't really point to a good effort for Loyola this season. It's shocking how bad they've been.
Yep.
Justin Moore
Just
playing a lot
Justin
of
Moore.
minutes. Yeah, I mean,
I
well, yeah.
said that,
We
called that one.
criticize that get immediately, by the way.
Yeah.
I think we're all on record there. Maybe Matt defended it.
Maybe Xavier Amos will be the Messiah. I say that after they have lost twice with him back.
One and
Yeah,
but
11 against the spread this year. One
yeah.
and 11.
Man, that was free. Man, should have
Oh yeah.
done that. Okay.
Chicago State football
Yeah.
coming to Chicago. So big week for Chicago State, knocking off the Blurs and announcing their gridiron entrance.
Yeah.
Can't believe they're funding football. I don't understand how that's
I
happening.
don't get it either. Matt's boy, Nolan Smith, Tennessee State, picked up a win against UNLV, and then they started off OVC play beating UT Martin. So, talented team. I think we were skeptical on Nolan Smith, but he's done pretty well so far. They're very up and down. They're kind of everywhere, Tennessee State.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, Jim, go ahead.
Oh no, UNLV is also really weird. Like they've played up a couple times, but they also have like three terrible home losses.
Montana finally loses to NAIA, Montana Tech, the Ore Diggers, Kelvin Sampson's former school. Yes, Montana Tech takes down Montana. I read a bunch of facts about Montana Tech after this game. It was just interesting. Small school in Butte, Montana. Beautiful. It looks very scenic. Yeah, Montana. Not good. Not on the team sheet, right?
Yeah, not on the
Not
team
that it
sheet.
matters.
Yeah, they're not getting an at-large anyways, but I don't know. For seeding, if they win the Big Sky, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, that does it for We've Saw That. We're getting to three-man thoughts before we do. Homefieldapparel.com. That's where you can buy the best college basketball and other college sports apparel in the world. Comfy shirts, comfy tees, comfy hoodies, joggers, sweatshirts. It's all good. Home field apparel, perfect gifts for Christmas time. We're coming up 6 days away. Jim, I am not wearing home field gear today, which is very rare. I usually am. Not sure if you're sporting your joggers or not. Can't see you below the waist there.
I'm wearing a pair of joggers, yes.
Fantastic. Can't recommend it more. I have too many Mizzou gear to even count. The jackets, man, everything's really cool. Go to homefieldapparel.com today. Shop your school. Use our promo code 3MW at checkout. I think that's 15% off. You won't regret it. The comfiest stuff you're ever going to wear. Homefieldapparel.com. Homefield, wear one for the team. Okay, Matt is away for a second here, Jim. Do you want to start or do you want me to start? I'm going to give you the option.
I'll start.
Okay.
I'll start. Let's talk about the elite tier. Kyle B brought this up in the Discord. I think it's a good discussion point. I think it's pretty obvious there's a top seven: Michigan, Arizona, Duke, Iowa State, Gonzaga, UConn, Purdue. You got four undefeateds, three teams with one loss there. Gonzaga and Purdue's losses are within that group. I can't remember who UConn lost to, Kai. I'll have to have you remind me.
UConn lost. Oh man, I watched the game. Arizona, Jim.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
the only three losses in that group are to each other.
Yeah.
So first I want to talk how you'd order that group, and then also we'll briefly discuss who could join that echelon.
It's hard to argue not ordering Michigan number one because they've been so dominant. So I guess I'll say one, Michigan. Honestly, man, boy, I've been equally impressed by Arizona and Iowa State, but I'll probably go Arizona narrow two, Iowa State, then Duke, although that switches every day. I think these teams are all pretty similar. I'd put maybe Purdue a little bit lower actually than this group, maybe UConn a little lower. Gonzaga, Arizona, Duke, Iowa State, Michigan are very close for me. And yes, I know Gonzaga lost by 40 to Michigan.
Yeah, that like data point is hard to reconcile, but
Yeah.
I think they're right there. I think sometimes one game can just get out of hand. There were shooting split issues in that game. I think it was probably closer to 10 to 15 point game if that was more even, but it was a clear Michigan domination. Yeah, I think I'd go basically the order I have them. Michigan, Arizona, Duke, my one, two, three. I could see a Gonzaga or a full strength UConn having them ahead of Iowa State, and that'll probably anger Clones fans because like what else can they do? They've
Yeah.
dominated most of their best opponents. Like going to Purdue is a total thrashing. I think Purdue seventh is the most clear I feel about something like Michigan one, Purdue seven are probably the two ones I'm most comfortable with there. But man, that echelon, that group, that tier is so strong and
Yeah.
have definitely separated themselves. But then Kai, who else can get there? Just the list of teams that with potential, Houston, BYU, they've shown BYU's shown really well recently after that
Yeah.
second half against Clemson. Vandy, I still think Florida is right there. They've played some really good games against teams in that tier. Illinois, Michigan State, Alabama. And then if you really want to, St. John's has the talent and the coach.
They do.
Texas Tech doesn't have the health. I don't know. We'll see. Who jumps out to you most? Who do you think has the goods to get up to that
I,
level?
I guess resume wise, excuse me, right now is Michigan State has the wins to say they're in that tier. I just think the ceiling's relatively capped. I think they're a clear Final Four contender, but if I had to bet it, I don't think they are going to win the title or get to that point. I think BYU is scary good at their highest level, and they're actually defending currently top 15 on both ends, offense, defense. So I think BYU is a very good candidate, and I'm still a believer in Houston, especially because I expect them to get better and better as the season goes on. Fleming's is a freshman star. I think Senak's only going to get better. And I think they're going to figure out the offensive foibles that have kind of held them back a little bit to start the year.
Matthew, who can
I want
join
to,
that
yeah,
that top seven?
I wanted to BYU was the team I wanted to add into like
Okay.
I with Kai. I think they're good. Has looked really scary good, and I think a lot of that is just Debansta, who I thought would be Jim. I know you agreed, just a little bit inconsistent, and he has been. But man, his top end scoring gear is just kind of unstoppable. I think he has the most. Boozer kind of has like that, that kind of inside pinch post. But I mean, Debance's just pull up is like you cannot do anything
Unstoppable.
about it. You like what do you have no chance. Saunders and Wright is like the second, third banana. I worry about their size up front a little bit. I know Kate is like the largest human I've ever seen, but I think they need like another big to really. That's what they're kind of missing. But yeah,
That pull up is unstoppable. To be 6'10 and have that body control, it doesn't matter. You can get the shot every time you want in the middle of the floor. And I'd probably take that if I was a coach. Like, yeah, just go shoot your shot. You're gonna go shoot 55%. Okay, go. Like run the play.
we'll see their defense tested. That was sort of the BYU. I think last year their arc was they look good defensively in non-con, and they played better teams. I think mostly this non-con, but in Big 12 play, kind of exposed a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I think that somebody had a stat of I think Borzello retweeted it from Optastats of like he's got in the last 3 games or maybe it's 4 games, 60 plus points, 20 plus assists, 20 plus rebounds, and a certain percentage from the field. It's like the only person to do that. I think they included 0 fouls, which I don't care about
Okay.
whatsoever.
yeah.
But like the efficiency, scoring, playmaking, rebounding is like an extremely difficult combination to find, and he's bringing all of it right now.
I don't want 0 fouls. Get in the mix. Get a foul. Average 1 to 2 fouls a game. Okay. Jim, is that your thought?
Yeah. Just want to talk about that top group. Matt, quick, how would you order the top group, Matthew?
I was Jim. I agree with the Michigan one, Purdue seven, um, is the right like bookend to that.
And I feel like you got to go Arizona too. I mean, they just beat the
Arizona
crap
two,
out of Alabama and Auburn.
Eye test is like, okay. Yeah. I think,
Arizona two, Duke three,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair.
And that's why,
Gonzaga
guys,
four.
I'm going to keep
Ooh.
making the case for Florida being like in that group because how good does playing Arizona wire to wire look right now in
Hmm.
the season opener? How good does having the lead at Duke with 20 seconds look? They were right with UConn. So like 3 games against this tier, they've been fantastic. Now the TCU loss is a blemish, but I still think they're going to end up top 10 in Ken Pom. And again, they're shooting 28% from three. Their guards can't hit a
Yeah.
shot. If
Yeah.
they were at 31%, they'd probably be 9-2 and maybe among this group already. So I still maintain that the Gators will be in that echelon.
It's funny. The strength of all these teams is their front courts, as I was kind of saying like last week. Like who is the best backcourt of that elite tier? It's like I don't think they're one that jumps out at you. I mean, obviously, they all have very good backcourts,
Hmm.
sure. I mean, Purdue is sort of the obvious because of the names there, but
That's the one. Yeah.
I might go. I mean, Iowa State with how
I would
good
say
Tore's
backcourt
played.
rocks.
I know,
They
and you
rock.
count Momo. We count Momo as a wing, whatever. I know we don't do the positional thing, but
Whatever serves your narrative.
yeah. And I think in this case, it will serve. I think they should be in that consideration. So
Yeah, their eye test is awesome too. I watched them decimate Purdue, so that was okay. That's good enough for me. Okay, I'll do one quick here, Matthew. Kentucky
go.
and Indiana, they just played, and I want to do a quick check-in, a quick oil check on these teams. Kentucky, it was doom and gloom in Lexington, and I think maybe it still is to an extent, but then Kentucky finally scores a win against Indiana. They're top 20 right now in KenPom. Like they're still a good team by analytics. And it just a huge win for resume purposes. They finally get on the board with a Q1, Q2 win in non-con play. Their only other quality game left is St. John's, which I believe is Saturday, day after we're recording this episode. So a huge opportunity for them. Are they back, though, is my question. Diabate being back against Indiana was huge. I'm still a little concerned about the offense, but I also like that Jalen Lowe is ramping back up. And once he's full go, I have a lot of confidence that their offense is going to start humming, working a lot better with a real point guard. And then when Quaintance ever plays, hopefully he's back for conference play. That changes this team's trajectory by a million leagues. We've talked about how they shouldn't be playing Moreno that much, and their front court is really weak without JQ in the lineup. If he's back, I mean, this team just changes. The defense is going to be really, really good. I think Kentucky is going to be just fine, Matthew.
I agree. I have more faith in Kentucky than IU. I just think IU, they are what they are. We've seen that, and I think Kentucky, we haven't seen what they could be, but I think we can envision it with again you insert again the bookends, two most important positions on the floor, and they don't have those two things solved right now. And you get those guys back, little rhythm, little routine. And Pope talked about it. He's like, we're just playing guys out of position. We're trying to put guys in roles that weren't brought here to do. Again, no one feels sorry for you, but I understand it, and I think it explains where they're at to some extent.
And kind of
Yeah.
sorry, Jim, good jump in there.
Yeah, just getting Diabate back is so huge for the defense. Quaintance will be massive for that too whenever he's back. And Matt, your boy Reed Bailey, starting to get buried. Starting to get buried.
Well, yeah, in
We saw
Indiana,
that coming. Like, look, I guess we're going to go with Alexis as a small ball five, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I mean, that's just kind of scary small against real. I mean, as we said, the best teams year in, year out at the end of the line are big. Bigger is better.
yeah, Indiana's on the opposite of Kentucky. They start off with fantastic optimism. Now you look back at their resume, it hasn't really aged well. The Kansas State home win doesn't look impressive. Marquette is awful, losing to everybody. That game's not that impressive anymore. The Minnesota loss is starting to stand out a little bit more now that we've seen them lose a couple games. Kentucky killed them on the glass. I mean, the ceiling is high, but if they don't shoot well, DeVries was 1 for 9 from three against Kentucky. Wilkerson didn't hit 10 threes like he did against whoever if they were playing when he did that. It's not an elite team if they can't hit shots. And maybe that's an obvious statement, but it's true because they can't really dominate the glass or dominate the interior. There's no alternative to missing shots for Indiana, and I think that limits them. Still a top 30 to 35 team. I'm very interested to see how Big Ten play goes, Matt. I'm not totally convinced they're like tournament because how good the Big Ten is.
I'm not either.
Scary.
They, God, I can't believe that Bart has them as a 6 on his projection. I mean, that just
Yeah,
seems very high.
it's early.
It is early, but still, because right now they have. I mean,
They're 67th in WAB right now. They haven't done the job to earn a 6. I think
Correct.
there's a lot of projection in that seating.
yep.
Yeah, I don't know how they have. Yeah, six. That makes no sense right now. But yeah, okay. That's my UK Indiana thoughts. They're crossing each other on the graph of optimism right now, going opposite ways. Okay, Matt, what's your first thought?
Running out of time. Kind of piggybacking off what you said, just like teams that are on the bubble. Again, I was my tool I anchor. I was really going through the Bart projected bracket, which I know is flawed, but I think it's a little more reflective than the actual bracket, what you've done to date. But yeah, I mean, Kentucky obviously is in that. NC State are kind of the two like teams we really high on, and like they have a lot of work to do in conference play. The other ones that popped up just on like the first four or first teams out, K State, Baylor, Texas, Big 12 there, and then Mizzou, Oklahoma, your Missouri Tigers. and then
Horrible.
Washington. Um, and I think of these teams like the narrative is like, okay, K State, we know what they are. They're not, people I think are more down on them. Baylor's a team that people, it just seems like no one's really anchored on them as like, they're closer to out of the tournament right now than in, which I think people don't maybe realize. Maybe I've missed that conversation, but their wins have not aged very well. And, them and Baylor and Oklahoma both, their schedule is unfortunate because they've picked up wins that just aren't going to age that well. And so I think now you're leaving yourself a lot of room, or little room to maneuver in conference play. Um, Washington is a team I was super high on. They've just been so hurt and just haven't gotten those big ones, like the UCLA game they needed to have. Um, and then Mizzou, you got to win at Notre Dame. I think that's the loss that ultimately keeps you out of
Well,
the
yeah.
tournament. So
Mizzou's not. Mizzou's very in trouble. I'm pushed back. Baylor's resume is not bad, Matt. Right now, it's actually solid. It's fine. They have three solid wins and then two really good losses in quotes. Besides, Memphis might not age very well, though. To your point,
see, I'm telling you, I think
I
the
don't think
Creighton
the
and San
Creighton
Diego
win
State.
ages well either.
I know, and the Aztecs. I mean, I think they'll get better, but I think they're going to be looking, and they thought they had good meat on their bone headed into conference play, and in 2 months, I don't
they'll,
know.
they'll be two. They'll be Q2s. I think neutral floors. I think they'll stay Q2.
I
Right.
wonder when do they come out with odds for tournament? Yes or no? A couple books do that. Baylor would be one of like maybe a good no value
I don't know, but they're
potentially.
awesome. I wish every book did that. Boy, they are soft.
And yeah, well, I mean, and the last one I'll mention here is the 3 pack of A10 teams: VCU, SLU, and Dayton. Now, SLU is the most likely to get in. I think that makes sense. God, they just don't screw up that free throw thing in Santa Clara. They're 11-0. Like that's
Stanford.
such a bummer.
Yeah.
Stanford, sorry,
Yeah.
and of course Stanford now is without a Corey, and then that loss could sour quickly too. And then VCU, Dayton. VCU actually has a little bit of a higher chance to get in as of now. I think Dayton's the better team than VCU. I've not been impressed with VCU. I think Dayton looks like a tournament caliber team, and I think SLU is a tournament caliber team. So,
Yeah.
George Washington's too bipolar. George Mason, I think I like a lot, but I haven't seen enough of. But I think there's a chance for a multi-bid A10 still. The dream is still alive, and I think I want SLU and Dayton to be the representatives. That's what I've decided.
I think it's just gonna be tough. I don't think Dayton didn't really do enough in terms of wins in the non-con. They had
Yeah,
chances.
they look good in big games, but didn't
Yeah.
actually. Yeah,
Same with VCU. They blew for their big games, and no fault to them. They're not, I don't think they were favored in really any of them. They just didn't do enough. So unless these two teams like dominate A10 play, I don't know if they're going to get in. It might be a one bid A10, which is not indicative of how good the league is. I think it's a
yeah, which
really
is
good league
exactly.
this season.
Yep. Bonnie's better than yeah. I mean, George Mason's up to top. What are they 65th right now in Ken Palm?
Yeah, they're really good. Yeah.
Again, haven't beaten anyone legit, but beaten a lot of solid teams. I'd argue. Yeah, that's my thought. Yeah, just annoying that the bubble teams in like the big conferences we're not excited about, and then there's actually like good teams that we'd like to see in the A10 that are going to probably be squeezed because a lot of conference scheduling stuff. So
Yep. All right, I'll go my second thought here, fellas. It's just some exciting mids. I want to shout out some mid majors that have gotten the top 90 nationally. I think we've kind of mentioned a few of these before, but just a shout out to Akron, McNeil, Yale, Utah Valley, and UC San Diego. All pretty much the clear favorites in their conferences right now. Utah Valley and UC San Diego certainly have some contenders in their conferences, but those five have been excellent. And Akron and Yale both have top 20 offenses. Like they
Yeah.
score like crazy. They played earlier this year and it was a fantastically entertaining game. McNeese, no Wade, no problem. I thought they might drop back down to like
Mhm.
probably the best Southland team, but to stay a top 75 team the way they have is impressive, despite the loss of their Southland opener. Utah Valley is probably the most like conventional of this group. They've got like the ball handler, point guard, four deep front court with size, and then a couple shooters that complement it. Then UC San Diego is just like five out bliss, like so much fun to watch. It was a shame they played Loyola Marymount at like 1 a.m. the other night. It felt like it. It was really really late. But they are just another team in the stay up late, watch the Big West because Cal Poly and UC San Diego and CSUN are all like pretty entertaining watches, and they are the best of the bunch. Either of you guys have a favorite from this group? Matt, anybody jump out to you?
UC San Diego. I think is my pick. I watched him play in that MT. Yeah, they're just really good. I used to not like Beatty from Hawaii. I didn't think he was a good player, and of course, Allard and that staff have turned him into an awesome player. They just got good, much like last year, right? A bunch of guys that were a little bit under recruited, overlooked, and their system is awesome. I like Yale. I'm not as high on them. I like Utah Valley. I think Todd Phillips is one of the most underrated coaches in college basketball. What he did last year, what he's doing this season. Um, they have a really good staff too. They hired some pretty sharp dudes, and I haven't seen enough of McNeese. Is it the same as just the Will Wade thing? Just run it back with just different guys. Effectively, I haven't seen that, so I can't opine on McNeese as much.
I mean, I think pretty much, yeah. They're just still really talented.
Just
They're
pressure,
so
pressure,
athletic and
pressure.
long.
Yeah,
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 like
yeah.
Dual is a cheat code against mid-major people. Like
Yeah.
he just swallows you up, and they've got other guys that can pressure too.
They had a scare against Houston Christian, though. I mean, they almost started 2-2 in Southland, which would have been very strange.
Yeah, the
I,
Southland's weird, man. It's a
it's
perfect,
a good league. Best league. I think it's best it's ever been right now in Ken
yeah.
Palm.
But I think the McNeese, it's a perfect giant killing type of team. It's a great
Yes.
in that, so I think that they're smart to kind of keep that going. Probably the one team I want to see the least of these teams in the tournament for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big. I mean, I'm a big Akron fan. I think they're awesome. This team is just so good on offense. They just don't do anything wrong. I think. I mean, Yale beat them, so Yale's very impressive as well. But oh, sorry. Yeah, Yale beat Akron. I can't remember who won that game.
Yeah, that game was so back and forth.
Awesome game.
Hey, I like Yale. I like Akron. They haven't beaten anybody like impressive.
Yeah.
Murray
Sure
put
they either like
115 on them.
scales up. Like
Yeah, no,
yeah,
yeah. I don't.
that's the
I'm.
question.
Akron's old style was a better like if you go to the tournament with
Mhm.
Enrique Freeman and Ali and like a gritty front line. Like okay, yeah, you play
It's
UCLA
true.
to down to the wire, but this type of team, I mean, it's fun, it's good, but it's how you get beat by 30 by Arizona. I mean, so we'll see.
Yeah. I got to wake up and smell the coffee in Utah Valley, I guess. I have them underrated
Yeah.
every year, but
No, Todd Phillips is really good. Like he's got, you're right. It's nothing flashy. Their backcourt's always a little bit like there's no like game breaking star, but they have kind of a big man whisperer pipeline going there, like sort of akin to like it's like UC Irvine light in a sense.
they tricked me. They start off
Chick,
with a,
chick, chick,
a
chick.
blowout loss at Boise and they lost to Fresno. And I'm like, okay, good. I was right. They're
The
not that good.
Boise game was after Boise lost to their or non D1, so
Yeah.
Boise was like foaming at the mouth. I get yeah, whatever. And Fresno is weird, so I don't know.
Okay. Jim, anything else in your exciting mids?
No, just wanted to give him a shout. So back to you, Mr. McEwen.
Speaking of exciting mid, how about Creighton? What is the J? What are the
Wow.
Jays? They've had a very weird analytics path. Kempom, preseason 39, then they fall to 54 after a big loss to Gonzaga. They got down to 60 in Kempom after losses to Baylor and Iowa State. They got down to 72 in Kempom after getting smoked by Nebraska and beaten by Kansas State at home. But now, Matthew, after a 41-point win at Xavier, they're back to top 50, 49. So they've dropped only 10 spots, even though they've really been around the entire world in terms of analytics. Is it a mirage or is Creighton back after that big win against Xavier? They hit 16 threes. That's going to help in any game when you shoot that well from deep. McDermott's kind of rolled out a different starting five. He's bringing Owen Freeman and Nick Graves off the bench, and Austin Swartz has been sort of featured. He averaged 1.3 points per game over the first 8 games, 12 minutes a game. Last 4 games, 16 and a half points per game in 21 minutes. He's 16 for 38 from three. That's 42%. He's kind of been a game changer. I kind
Yeah.
of buy the new lineup, Matt, but I think Freeman probably their best version is still with him as a focal point. I'm not sure I love that, but Graves off the bench, sign me up.
Yeah, we never liked Graves. We were always skeptical as to what really was Blake Harper. I think he's a useful tool piece, but I love the Swartz thing. I don't know, was he hurt or was he just not consistent?
I have
It
no
just feels
idea.
like such a like obviously had talent last year at Miami. That was a disaster situation. Good on them to bring him in, and that's what this team needs. Like they need a little more dynamism in the backcourt. As much as we like some of those guys, that's what they're missing. And obviously Owen Freeman not being 100% is noticeable. That's hurt as well. So
Yeah, just it turns out being Iowa isn't all that fun, or like trying to build your team around the Iowa and Charlotte's guys. And I like Schwartz. He was part of a college basketball disaster last season, so it's
Yeah.
it's hard to like pin him as a savior. I liked Hudson Greer a lot in Vegas when he played. I just think I wouldn't even say overestimated the talent on the roster. I overestimated McDermott's ability to turn shaky guys into like a super cohesive unit. Like your
Yeah.
Blake Harper, Nick Graves, Owen Freeman, Josh Dix. Which one of those guys is playing any defense? And the offense hasn't been like boiling lava enough to make up for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the ceiling is really limited with them.
It
That
sucks. So
was,
they're Oregon. You mentioned Xavier and then
yeah.
Marquette, which is what a Q3 win at this point. And then you enter the crappy bowl. Sorry,
Yeah.
there's a conference game. The Big East just not good. It's just like tough. I don't know what to do.
Exactly. I wrote down they have to go 15-5 in the Big East probably with a win at least against one or both of UConn and St. John's to be considered for the tournament. They have no bad losses, but they need to pick up something of a good win. I guess Villanova's probably a pretty good win right now. We'll see how that ages. But yeah, they have one win against the top 100 team so far. So Creighton's, you had to have the offense be explosive this season and be top 25 good. You always knew the defense was going to struggle, and it just hasn't been. So that's their problem. Okay, Matt, second thought for you.
I have no second thought. I have one.
No
I only had
thought.
one thought. So
Okay, just one thought for Matt,
three-man thought.
just two for me and Jim. So that means we're heading to our last section, our game previews, no reviews this week as well. Quickly, we'll touch on again. Join us for our best bet show, 10 a.m. Central on Saturday, to talk more in depth from a gambling perspective on these games. Today, real quick, if you're a lucky listener that's checking us live or before this game tips, Villanova plays Wisconsin at I believe it's the Bucks place, the Pfizer Forum. So Wisconsin maybe a little bit of home cooking, not really. They'll have the
Well, I
fan
was
base
thinking the
there for
Marquette
sure.
fans going to go and root against them for their Big East counterpart. I feel like
You
that could
think
be
so?
like an inverse home court. I don't know. Wouldn't that make sense?
Well, Matt,
I mean,
what do you think of this game? Because we've seen Villanova beat basically nobodies, and they played
yeah.
BYU close game one. They lost to Michigan by 100, but so does everybody. Are they good? Do you think they'll beat Wisconsin, hang with Wisconsin?
I think I'm a little bit. I probably undersold Nova a tad. I still don't think they're that great. It's very bright. Kevin Willard is so disgruntled and kind of an ass in all of his pressers. I feel like he thinks his team is not that good, and he's just waiting for it to be exposed. That's just the vibe I get from him.
Yeah, probably.
I hyped up Bryce Lindsey preseason. Good job by me. One of my few correct takes on this year. Duke Brennan's a monster up front. This is a bad matchup for Nova because with Winter and Rapp at the rim, you'd kind of take away the Brennan offensive rebounding cheat code, and then you kind of make the guards have to beat you. And I think they're going to play better off that terrible effort that they had at Nebraska. Guard said he challenged Nicky Boyd and Noah Blackwell. I think they respond.
Noah Blackwell, John Blackwell.
Why do I say Noah?
I don't even know. Is Noah Blackwell a guy? I don't know. But yeah, Wisconsin is like sneaky in that conversation from your three-man thought, Matt, where they like haven't done anything right now, and they've faded enough analytically where they're like a bubble team when you project it out. I think we're going to see a correction up from them. I think having this game be in Milwaukee and a pro crowd will be slightly beneficial to them, and they can move Duke Brennan around with the shooting they have in the front court. That helps open up the floor for Boyd and Blackwell getting downhill. And I don't think Nebraska or excuse me, Villanova has the offense that Nebraska or BYU did to like really expose a defense that has struggled so far. I think this is a Wisconsin win by 7 to 8.
Yeah. Hey, me too, Jim. I'm on the same page. You got to wonder how Villanova's free throw defense is going to be, though. They're sixth in the country right now in free throw percentage defense. Teams are shooting 64% from the line against them. Wisconsin's one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. Will be very interesting to see how they can distract the shooters at the charity stripe. Okay, Saturday, touch on 4 games very quickly. Kentucky and St. John's in Atlanta, UNC and Ohio State in Atlanta. Both these games, I don't know. Is this called something? Is this special? I don't know if it's called anything.
The one in Atlanta, this is the CBS Sports Classic.
Oh, this is Sports Classic. Okay, of course.
Yeah.
Kentucky St. John's.
Ohio, or who's the UCLA pulled out of this because they didn't want to go to Atlanta. Nick Cronin doesn't like to travel.
This is a huge game for both.
Planes.
This is a big game. We mentioned Kentucky's resume. They only have one good win in Indiana. St. John's only has one good win. Against Baylor on a neutral floor. I don't think the home win against Ole Miss is going to be fantastic at the end of the day. So both these teams, this is their last chance to get a quality win in non-con. Kentucky, Matt probably feels a little bit, in the grand scheme of things, they're not thinking about this, but they can afford this loss more, actually, I think, because of how good the SEC is. The Big East is not good, and St. John's is kind of in trouble of getting a lower seed if they can't pull this one out. Who do you like in this game?
I like St. John's. I think the Kentucky. I think it's going to take a game or two, no matter who plays, whatever, to maybe see the V2 that we're talking about earlier with potentially Quaintance back and Devontae. I think St. John's just dominates the glass in this one. I think they're close to go into that next gear. We haven't quite. I know Patino's been tinkering with lineups. He kind of does the thing where he calls out the defense challenge, and then they all of a sudden start playing really good defense. I think St. John's wins, not like by a lot, but I think comfortably, frankly.
Yeah, the tinkering is crazy. Like he knows that Zuby is one of his best players. He knows that Sellers is his most consistent guard. And then beyond that, it's like, all right,
Yep.
who's playing well today? Who should I try? Who works in this matchup? Five different starting lineups already. Guys that go from single digits to 25 minutes, single digit minutes to 25, and then back down to single digits. It's pretty erratic, but I still think St. John's is closer to being what they are than Kentucky. And yeah, with Quaintance coming back, I think there could be even if he might not. I think his first game would be pretty shaky on the new
Mm,
knee, and maybe only plays like 10 to 15. I think this is a St. John's win, not going away, not the kind of game that causes Kentucky to go full blown panic, but I think you see Big Blue Nation get nervous again if they lose a second or don't start a winning streak. And maybe it's just such a narrative game, Kai. You mentioned it like
yeah,
whoever loses, the sky is falling. Whoever wins, they're back. Like it's
yeah.
going to be a lot of Field of 68 all caps headlines that night.
Should be a pretty pro BBN crowd in Atlanta, you would think. The other game, UNC Ohio State. Ohio State's resume is fine, not fantastic. The loss at Pitt hurt. UNC's resume looks a lot better with Kansas and Kentucky wins. Seth Trimble, Jim, you mentioned, might be back. He's getting closer to being back. That would be
Yeah, I
obviously
think
be
it's more like
huge.
January for him. Yeah.
Okay. Caleb Wilson is a top 10 KenPom Player of the Year guy right now for UNC. Obviously been fantastic. I think UNC's been a lot better than Ohio State this season. But how do you see this game, Jim?
Yeah, I think this is probably more a advantage North Carolina just because the defense they're huge. I didn't realize they're number one in the country in average height.
Yeah,
Like
wow.
they're colossal
Caleb
playing
Wilson's 6'10".
Stevenson. Yeah,
What?
playing Stevenson at the three or Wilson at the three, whoever you want to count as the more perimeter the option there. Vasar is fantastic at center. Ohio State can score, but man, they can get exposed at the rim a little bit, and I think that's what happens here. I think North Carolina controls the paint. I think they struggle to guard Thornton, who is absolutely brilliant, but that's kind of what Ohio State's been. Like awesome with Thornton and then not great inside around the rim. And that's where UNC wins. So I think they control this one.
Derek Dixon season. Nice
Yeah.
player. I think he's going to start to emerge here. And not, yeah, Kyan Evans, I was so wrong about him. Just isn't good enough. He's fine as a ball mover, but he's a liability, I think, out there. I think that's why Dixon's been so critical to kind of keep the ship afloat. This, Kentucky, Georgetown had to have those games. So yeah, I just want to mention him. He's been really good.
Arkansas, excuse me, Arkansas and Houston tip off in Newark on Saturday. I'm very interested in this game because like I said, I am still a big believer in Houston. I think they're going to get a lot better, but Arkansas has looked fantastic. They have the guard play to not get super flustered, I think, by Houston's pressure defense and scary defense that affects everybody. I do think Houston's going to have pretty easy time in the glass. Texas Tech grabbed a lot of offensive rebounds, and this Houston team is ferocious when it comes to the glass. I lean towards a Houston win here, Matthew. I'm not. KenPom makes it 5. That seems a little high to me, just how good Arkansas's looked. But I think the Cougars get it done.
I kind of like Arkansas, actually. Um, I just think they're built to, their physicality up front. I think they can hang. Maybe this feels like that maybe it's an E-Man Sharp game where he just goes off and makes a bajillion shots, and that's sort of the separator. I don't know and then Uzan's been kind of like for all the hype that he got last year and his return, he just hasn't really had like any like really stellar breakout games. He had a good game at Syracuse, but like who cares? He wasn't great against Tennessee. Maybe this is a game where he kind of comes back out of his shadow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Houston. I think the thing I like most is that they've stopped trying to make JoJo Tugler happen as a post threat. Like I don't know
Yeah,
what the hell that was to
fetch.
start the season. Yeah, like the first few games, first five really were like he's gonna be the new Jalen Roberts. We're gonna feed him, and that's gonna happen. It's not. It's not working. Playing through the perimeter trio is the way to go, letting Flemings kind of get in the lane whenever he can, whenever he wants, and try to extract a little more physicality from Cenac. That's what I want to see out of him. But I think Houston does win this. Arkansas has been great against better competition, but Houston's got more of the depth, the size that Texas Tech didn't to deal with the waves of athleticism.
Yes, I agree, Jim. Okay, last game, Texas Tech Duke at Madison Square Garden. Boozer versus Toppin is going to be awesome. Heavyweight battle, back and forth. Two of the best players in the country play the same position. I think Duke smokes them. Having watched both these teams, Matthew, I don't have a lot of confidence Texas Tech can hang, and I think Duke wins.
Yeah, no, I have real issues with Tech. I mean, they can't guard anything. Um,
Yeah, at all.
and if Luke Bambi is done, I mean, they just don't have. As Jim mentioned, they have to go to the 4 guard look. I just think that just makes them so exposed. I mean, God, if Christian Anderson tweaks an ankle, I mean, it's like their one ankle tweak from Christian Anderson or JT Toppin, who has had injury issues in the past. Like, I mean, this team can not be bad, but I mean, really just fall out of, we thought they could be a top 10 team, and like they could be very much on the wrong side of the bubble quickly. Again, as we said, margin for error is slim, and I think in this matchup, Duke's length will just be, overwhelming for a kind of a smaller team.
Yeah, this could be like Duke by 15. I think the size limits Toppin to an extent where even if he's scoring one-on-one, they're okay with him going for 25 as long as they're not giving up open threes. Anderson can hit some tough shots, but he's going to be going against length on the perimeter too. And Duke's going to be able to score. Everybody can score against Texas Tech right now. So I think Duke by 12 to 15.
Good, same page. Okay, Jim, real quick, we'll touch on bragging rights.
Had to. I had to put this in there.
You guys going?
No.
I'm thinking about it. We'll see.
Monday.
I love going to this game. It's always a good game.
Illinois, Mizzou. I don't think Mizzou is going to stop Illinois at all. The Mizzou defense is terrible. I'll call out our defense, Jim, since we're alums. It's horrible. Illinois is going to score at will. The one saving grace is, hey, Illinois is not going to turn the Tigers over. And that's been a huge problem for them. And Mizzou can shoot. So it's always a great equalizer, but I don't think it's going to be it's going to be competitive, but I think Illinois is going to win by doubles.
I think you got to zone Illinois a ton here. They've not seen
will.
much of it.
He'll do dumb
bad.
zones. Yeah, sure. It's not going to work.
I think that whether it's smart or dumb, obviously the end game zone against Notre Dame was just ridiculous. But in this matchup, I just think Illinois, that's a good wrench to throw in their offense for sure. So that's my only recourse for Mizzou. I kind of lean Mizzou. I think they win this game. You don't think so?
I think Illinois wins by
win this game.
I think there's nothing more phony than Mizzou being top 25 in 2-point percentage defense. It's because they played an absolutely garbaggio schedule. Notre Dame shot 67% inside the arc. Like, I know Kansas didn't shoot 50, but I think Illinois can expose them in there. Mizzou's going to struggle to score because they won't be able to get to the foul line and get on the offensive glass. That's like two major strengths of the Illinois drop coverage defense. I think this is just kind of maybe not like a smashing blowout, but something like Illinois is up by 8 the whole way and wins by 12. That's where I see this.
Yeah, a really, really good game last year between Illinois and Mizzou. And Illinois, it kind of led the whole way, but Mizzou was close, and I had confidence in that team. I have no confidence in this team. I think it's going to be a tough one for the Tigers and begins the end for our tournament hopes, unfortunately.
Yes.
Such is the life of a Mizzou fan. Okay, that does it. Again, no reviews. Thank you for joining the podcast. Do check us out tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Central for Best Bet Show. We'll be back next week. Probably. We'll let you know on the schedule. I don't know where holiday schedules fall for us right now. But till then, enjoy hoops, enjoy basketball, enjoy your weekend. Happy holidays from the Weave. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Okay, we should be
Okay, there we go.
Should be clear on live.